Wait, your sister is deaf? You are burdened with such a big load, aren't you? My joyous mood being on a trip with my sister Catherine on my first salary was ruined by my boss, Robert, by chance. Robert, who had previously made disparaging remarks about not hiring people with disabilities. I can't believe he looks down on and discriminates even against Catherine, who has nothing to do with him. Anger welled up inside me. No one chooses to have a disability. Having seen how much my sister struggled and suffered due to her hearing impairment, I couldn't forgive Robert's words no matter that he's my boss. Our family consisted of my parents, my younger sister, and me. My mother was bright and kind, like the sun. My father was often busy with work, but he was calm, knowledgeable, and reliable. Back then, Catherine did not have a hearing impairment. Being close in age, we were more like best friends than sisters, playing together every day. We were neither rich nor poor, just an average family that could be found anywhere. I only realized how fortunate we were after that incident. When I was in middle school, our family decided to go on a resort hotel. Both Catherine and I were looking forward to our first overnight trip in a long time. My father rented a car and set off for the vacation, driving a vehicle he wasn't used to. We'll arrive in about 2 hours. Nodding to my father's words, Catherine and I excitedly discussed what we would do once we arrived at the resort hotel. At that moment, a short groan from my father resonated. Just as I thought our vision was obscured by a dark shadow, we were hit by a powerful impact. I don't remember anything after that. When I came to, I was lying in a hospital bed. A truck had crossed the road due to the driver nodding off and crashed head-on into the car my father was driving. Both my parents were killed on the spot. Catherine survived but fractured her temporal bone, losing her hearing completely in one ear and barely retaining it in the other. Catherine and I were taken in by our maternal grandmother. With a hearing aid, Catherine could still hear a little in one ear, so she transferred to the same middle school as me. Our grandmother informed the principal about Catherine's hearing impairment and asked the teachers to be considerate. But looking back now, maybe that wasn't the best move. My sister began to get bullied. Though we were in different grades, I always told her, if anything happens, let me know immediately. But she didn't want to worry me or our grandmother, so she never said anything, which I regret deeply. The day Catherine came home with her hearing aid broken, I found out who was responsible and confronted them at their home, also reporting to the teachers. As a result, the students apologized and their mother agreed to compensate. But hearing aids aren't covered by insurance, and they're quite expensive. Realizing the cost, the mother was shocked and the story spread through her friends, ensuring no student would dare break Catherine's hearing aid again. However, the bullying persisted in forms of being ignored and ridiculed. After graduating from middle school, Catherine, by her own choice, went to a school for the deaf. Seeing her make many friends and speak happily about her experiences, both I and our grandmother felt relieved. But then, when I was in college, our grandmother passed away, leaving just Catherine and me. Once I secured a job, Catherine and I moved into a small apartment and started a new life together. After joining the company, a 2-week training for new hires began, and the person in charge was Robert. He was very blunt and made several of my colleagues cry. Among them, there was an employee with a disability in their right hand. If you have a disability in your right hand, you can't use a computer or even write, can't you? Robert made a derogatory comment. I wanted to speak up, but as a new recruit, I was scared that doing so might get me fired. I can type with a one-handed keyboard and can do anything with my left hand, so there is no hindrance in my work. I felt relieved hearing her firm response, but I regretted not saying anything. After the training ended, a social gathering was held, and the department head from the General Affairs Division, whom we'd only greeted on the first day, was also present. While deepening the bond with my new colleagues in the lively atmosphere, a drunk Robert raised his voice towards the department head. We hire disabled people because it's the law, but I don't think we should hire people with disabilities. It decreases work efficiency, and it doesn't benefit the company. If it weren't for the law, there would be no need to hire the disabled. Given what had happened earlier, I couldn't hold back my emotions. Isn't that an inappropriate way to put it? It's a prejudice to think that people with disabilities can't work. There's a job suited for everyone. Furthermore, precisely because of their disabilities, many strive to overcome their challenges and outperform others. Robert's eyebrows raised. Miss Johnson, how dare you speak to me, your boss, in such a way? Know your place. I stood my ground, believing I hadn't said anything wrong. As my peers looked on anxiously, it was department head who calmed the situation. He mediated with Robert and said, "We have employees with disabilities in our company, and they are valuable assets." Thanks to his words, I felt reassured. I hoped to avoid any further involvement with Robert, only to find out I was assigned to the General Affairs Division, the same division Robert was in. Naturally, Robert was tough on me. I was reprimanded for the smallest mistakes. If I ever paused, I was yelled at for slacking off. I felt watched at every turn. I can't lose here. I obtained a scholarship, took out a student loan to attend college, and finally secured a job at this company. For Catherine's and my sake, I couldn't just quit. I tried my best to learn my job, even creating my own manual, and worked diligently. Perhaps because they knew how especially strict Robert was with me, my senior colleagues and bosses treated me kindly, which also motivated me to continue my work. Overcoming such days, I received my first salary. I had been thinking for a long time about how to use it. I decided to take Catherine on a resort hotel that we couldn't go on when we were in middle school. Although it might bring back painful memories, I wanted to visit the hotel that our parents had always talked about taking us to. It was our first time traveling so far together, and while I was a bit anxious, the excitement overshadowed it. I'm really looking forward to the trip. Thanks for bringing me along, sis. Seeing Catherine's smile made me happier than anything. We enjoyed the views from the express train and shared snacks, and soon we arrived at our destination. Welcome, thank you for coming all this way. The receptionist greeted us and guided us to our room. Before the trip, our father had shown us photos and talked about his visits to this hotel, but I was too young to remember. However, as I walked, I felt a sense of nostalgia. Could my body remember it? As I pondered this, a familiar face approached from down the corridor, and it seemed the person recognized me too. I didn't expect to see you here, Miss Johnson. Isn't it tough for a new employee like you to afford a stay at this hotel. I come here at least twice a year, you know. As always, he was dripping with sarcasm. I was surprised as well. Oh, this is my younger sister. Trying to wrap up the situation quickly, I introduced my sister with a forced smile. Oh, you two don't look alike. What's your name, young lady? How old are you? Which university are you attending? Without catching the mood, Robert bombarded my sister with rapid-fire questions. My sister's expression changed instantly. I answered on her behalf. I'm sorry, but my sister has a hearing impairment. She can barely hear with a hearing aid in one ear, but in noisy places or when spoken too quickly, she struggles to understand. Could you please repeat what you said slowly and in a loud voice? A cold smile appeared on Robert's face. Oh, your sister can't hear? With that kind of issue, she won't be able to find a proper job. You've been burdened with such a responsibility, haven't you? I inadvertently raised my voice in response. Catherine attends university without any hindrance, and I've never considered her a burden. Don't make baseless assumptions without knowing anything. Robert became infuriated. I've always thought this about you, but you're an incredibly arrogant newbie. Just because everyone around you pampers you, doesn't mean you can get cocky. If I file a complaint, you could easily be fired. The situation was on the verge of exploding. Suddenly, the hotel's receptionist, who had been guiding us, returned with a few other people. Leading them was a dignified-looking woman, likely the hotel general manager. She looked at us, her eyes widening in recognition. Hey, don't those two look familiar? The hotel general manager asked an older receptionist. Then the receptionist raised her voice. Could it be, are you Tom's daughters? Tom is the name of our father. It couldn't be a coincidence. Tom is our father's name. I'm Emily, and this is my sister, Catherine. Hesitantly responding, both the hotel general manager and the receptionist exchanged glances. Your father was truly a great help to us. What kind of relationship did my father have with this hotel? While pondering this, the hotel general manager turned towards Robert. We'd like to ask anyone who looks down on our esteemed guest to leave. What? I'm a regular customer here. If you are asking someone to leave, it should be these two. Although I was anxious about the decision to expel Robert, who claims to visit twice a year, the hotel general manager remained calm. In fact, we've received complaints not only from our staff, but also from other guests regarding your rude behavior in the past. We've determined you are not fit to stay at our hotel. We will refund your deposit in full. Please escort him out. A tall man who had just arrived began escorting Robert towards the entrance. Cheers erupted from the staff. It seems the rumors that Robert was a troublesome guest were true. I'm truly sorry for the unpleasant experience you had to endure during your visit. She apologized as we were shown to our room. No, not at all. More importantly, could you tell us about our father? Catherine and I had no idea about our father's connection to this hotel. Excuse me, but where are Tom and Karen today? I felt a momentary tightness in my chest. Our parents passed away when we were in middle school, on their way to this hotel. Realizing not just about the death of our parents, but also that the accident had left Catherine with a hearing disability, both the hotel general manager and the nearby receptionist were visibly shaken and wiped their eyes. We tried contacting them, but there was no response, and our letters were returned. We thought something might have happened. I see. She then shared story about our father. Originally, this hotel was a favorite of our father's paternal grandfather, and our father often came to play here, brought along by his grandfather. In those days, besides this hotel, many other hotels stood side by side, forming a resort town. However, gradually the number of tourists began to decrease, causing many hotels to go out of business. This long-established hotel was also facing difficulties due to its aging structure, and was in dire need of renovations. Hearing about the hotel's situation, Tom visited and offered his assistance. Thanks to his help, the hotel was renovated. Along with the renovation, the management reforms he introduced were successful, leading to an increase in the number of guests once again. The hotel general manager offered to pay him back, but my father declined, saying it was a gift. If your father hadn't financially helped us at that time, our hotel would have undoubtedly gone out of business. We were truly grateful. Following the hotel general manager, the receptionist spoke. When I saw the two of you grown up, I immediately recognized you. Emily, you resemble your father. And Catherine, you look so much like your mother. I'm glad you both returned to this hotel. We've been waiting for you. Tears welled up in my eyes. What if back then we were in middle school? If we hadn't met with that accident and had reached the hotel? Would my father have told us about how he saved the hotel? Would my mother have shared memories of her past visits to the hotel? Would they have warmly welcomed us and celebrated mine and Catherine's growth? Thinking this way, I couldn't hold back my tears. Catherine, who was listening next to me, was also crying. I felt truly glad that we came here today. Later on, Robert was called out by the upper management due to his discriminatory comments during the new employee training and social gathering. He was sent to a regional branch to reflect and relearn how to behave as a decent human being. With Robert gone, my work environment improved, and with the help and support of my seniors and bosses, I have been working hard. Catherine graduated from the Information Science Department of her university in June. She was able to secure a job as a system engineer at a top-tier company. Even though the company mentioned she could work from home, Catherine chose to work on site and is blessed with kind bosses and colleagues. I'm happy and proud that Catherine found what she loves and pursued it. This time, I will be the one treating you, big sis. Having received her first paycheck, Catherine decided to take me a resort hotel. I felt uneasy having my younger sister pay, but Catherine was overjoyed and wore a constant smile on her face. Arriving at the hotel's lobby, the hotel general manager as well as the staff warmly welcomed us. For dinner, they even prepared a steak to celebrate Catherine's new job, and we enjoyed it with great excitement. In this hotel, filled with memories of our parents, we both shared the hope that we'd continue to live in harmony as sisters. We are not alone. There are so many people who support us in every way.